Boxing Truth here, back with another video. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's talk about it. The fight this weekend. Interesting fight in the welterweight division. Kell Brook challenging Terence Crawford for the WBO welterweight strap. Crawford is looking to make another successful defense as he is trying to push closer to a mega fight, legacy fight in his career, which is desperately something that he's missing on his resume. Something that he really needs to define his legacy, as they say, even though he says he doesn't need the Errol Spence fight. Unfortunately, if he was to retire today, his best win will be a Jeff Horn. And that's not good when people say you're the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And he does look the part. I mean, I'll say this about Terence Crawford. Even though I shitted on him, hated on him for years, I mean, the dude doesn't put me to sleep. He always comes to fight. He's had some stinkers early in his career, but he usually gets, he usually gets it done. He usually performs. He usually, knocks people out. He puts on good performances in showcase fights. He does the job, and that's what I credit about Terence Crawford. He goes in there, he does a job, and he does it impressively 8 to 9 times out of 10 in his career, and especially as of late. I mean, the guy has been impressive in a number of his recent fights. He's gotten the stoppage, bullied Jeff Horn around. He really surprised me with his physical strength in that fight. He knocked out a one-legged Jose Benavidez, but stopped him regardless. He was a tough fighter, and he knocked out a solid contender in the Mean Machine. Strong contender in the welterweight division. Not an elite guy, but a strong contender, and he went in there and just fought the Mean Machine's fight. Went in there, walked him down, and knocked his ass out. So Crawford's been impressive in his most recent performances, especially at 140, destroying Adongo in 2 rounds. Yeah, he doesn't have the strongest resume, doesn't have the biggest wins, doesn't have any elite names, but the guy delivers most of the time, and he doesn't put me to sleep, and he's usually exciting to watch. So I can give props for that to Terence Crawford. Usually does the job. Now he's going in there against Kell Brook, a guy who hasn't been in an elite fight in 3 years. And the question is, does Kell Brook even have a chance? I mean, the bookmakers don't seem to think so. Crawford is as high as a 25-1 favorite. And I agree with Dwyer. The casino have mispriced this fight. I don't think Kell Brook's a 9-1 underdog, which is some books see him as. So there's definitely value in betting on Kell Brook. But the thing is, I bet against Terence Crawford a few times, and I've always been wrong. But with the value that they're giving you for a Kell Brook, who really has only lost 1 fight at welterweight, and that was against a top fighter in Errol Spence, coming off a knockout defeat against Golovkin. So this ain't 2016. This is not the Kell Brook of 4 years ago. He's been beaten up. He's been stopped. He's been submitted by fighters. And, he's talking a good game once again. The chocolate brownies are cooking. They're waiting in the oven, waiting to be unleashed. He says he's feeling stronger than ever, but this is his first elite fight in 3 years. He's been in the ring with absolute nobody since Errol Spence stopped him back in 2017. But there is an interesting dynamic. Some of the YouTube heads already talked about it. Terence Crawford is looking to leave Top Rank. There's only this is according to his quotes. There's only a few months, maybe less than a year, or as much as a year, that Crawford has left when it comes to the Top Rank contract. So could this be another setup that Bob Arum is planning? I mean, he set up Manny Pacquiao in Australia when Pacquiao was trying to leave Top Rank. He also robbed him in the first Timothy Bradley fight, just to, put on a bullshit rematch. So this could be a dangerous fight for Crawford because he no longer has any protection, whether he needs it or not. And that's one of the dangerous things about being a free agent in this business. There's no protection. You can get robbed. You can get fucked around with by the politics. And right now Crawford is looking to perhaps part ways with Top Rank. Top Rank has done good for him. You know, they've made him a lot of money. They've gotten him the credentials, 3-division world champion, but they haven't been able to deliver the big fight. And, you know, not because they haven't tried. PBC has their own agenda. They have their own plans with their fighters. And right now, Crawford is just not the biggest. He's just not a big enough star to really make those fights. Doesn't really make it worth for Al Heyman to deliver and risk a Errol Spence coming off an accident. He's looking to make more in-house fights. He has the welterweight pieces. He's got the pieces on the chessboard. I mean, he's got so many pieces that there's so many fights that he can make. He can mix and match. And, you know, Spence is going to fight those guys first, whether it's Danny Garcia, perhaps a Manny Pacquiao, before he fights Crawford. But Crawford could expedite the process by leaving Top Rank. And if he joins PBC, those fights will be easier to be made. But it doesn't really matter who Crawford's with. I mean, the fight should have been made regardless, whether he's with Top Rank or not. This fight's interesting, though. You know, Crawford is in there with a former world champion, a guy who's been on the pound list at one time, at least according to one magazine. Ring Magazine had him in the top 10. I think he possesses a bigger threat compared to Amir Khan. Amir Khan really had no chance. Kell Brook is a, you know, more stronger fighter, bigger puncher, much better welterweight. He's been champion at that weight. Amir Khan has not. He's been in there with, you know, big, strong fighters in the division, bigger fighters. He has experience. He does well against southpaws. But Crawford, you know, he's a dog, man. He's tough. He's got that black athleticism that bothers a lot of fighters. He's a good puncher. He's very competitive. He's undefeated. He's still relatively fresh despite being 33 years of age. He hasn't taken any beatings. He hasn't been in any wars. He's still a fresh 33. And he hasn't been beaten up to a pulp, and he hasn't been quit and stopped in that ring. So you have to favor Terence Crawford, most likely by stoppage. Because Brook has shown that he's capable of quitting. And Crawford has only shown that he's still showing these, you know, explosive performances. He's not looking like he's slowing down. He got touched up in his last fight. That was because he wanted to be aggressive and he was on the front foot. But he's a tricky fighter to deal with. He's long, he's rangy, he's athletic, he's a good counter puncher, good boxer. He's a good puncher. He's got that athleticism, you know, that backward step. You know, you go out, if you come at him, he takes that backward step, and it's very effective for him. He's quick. He's got the quick feet, and he counters you. So, you know, Brook does well against southpaws. He has that, you know, counter jab that he uses against southpaws. It'll be interesting. It's going to be a good fight, forever long it lasts. I think Crawford wins, but you know, him trying to leave Top Rank definitely does make it an interesting dynamic. I mean, anything's possible in boxing, you know. We've seen bigger upsets. But I believe Crawford wins by stoppage between 7 to 9 rounds. But hey, the value is too good on Brook to pass up. You can definitely hedge the play, as Dwyer would say. So, you know, make sure you make smart bets. Will knock you if you bet on Kell Brook. It's great value in it. You're never going to get Kell Brook at those odds. But maybe Terence Crawford is just that good. But this is another fight for Crawford to hopefully get ready for a super fight in 2021. We'll see how his relationship with Top Rank is impacted going forward. It looks like he's on the outs. Looks like he wants out. And maybe Bob Arum has something brewing. Perhaps a robbery is already in place. But we'll see. Y'all let me know what you guys think. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.